Now rocking with the best. Who's the boxing show that's knocking out the competition? The kick-ass podcast that make you want to listen. The place where boxing fans and fighters rejoice. Thumbs up for Richie. You're listening to the fighter's voice.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in to hear our guest by way of Zoom. It's former world champion of the world, now reinventing himself, as I'm hearing he's going to be a podcast host. Hearing that he's going to be someday soon the head broadcaster in a big network, whoever wants to pick him up with all his expertise. But right now he's having a great time, spending time with his family, just living the life. And, he still has that boxing mentality in him. And every time that he gets behind a microphone, we're blessed by his expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Semper Fi, Jamel Herring. Welcome to the Fighter's Voice, Jamel.
Hey, thank you, Rich, man. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, they just don't know what's behind the scenes and how it goes, man. But nevertheless, we're ready to rock and roll. Jamel, it's been a while since I've had you on the show. Since then,
Right.
You were getting ready to perform. You had a match set up and you had some big plans. But, sometimes God open doors or close doors so we can find our true calling. And I know it's still in you, and I'll never say never. I'll never persuade you from chasing your dream. But not too many fighters can make the transition as you did while you were still in the ring as a broadcaster.
Right.
Tell us about that broadcasting talent you have and your natural ability just to see things before they happen.
I mean, I just feel it as if I'm blessed to be within the sport. So it's definitely a true blessing now that I got top ranking around behind me in terms of broadcasting. But like now I can just share my thoughts and my stories and my knowledge with the world, and it's just great to get to voice my opinion and get a lot of great love back in return. So I think for me it was an easy transition in terms of going for the ring to sitting down ringside watching everything up close myself.
Yeah, Jamel, I know it's a Top Rank is helping you out there, ESPN broadcasting on there, and that's one heck of a network. Has anybody contacted you since then and said, "Hey, Jamel, I want to bring you over here because I love what you're doing. I want to give you a big chair to fill."
I mean, like I'll say about like a year ago or so, I was called by NBC when they was doing their series over there. So I got to sit down, with NBC. I've been called to Triller. Even now, Triller wants me to come back again. So I've pretty much been around, around the block, and just getting my experience here and there, and working with guys that been in the business for 30 plus years. So I've been around, just picking everyone's brains. But for the main part, Sky Sports and ESPN have given me the platform to really showcase what I can do from ringside.
When you had fights set up and you were still in the ring, and I'll never count you out on it. I will never do that. And I used to ask you questions, who was your inspiration as a fighter? Who do you recognize as a fighter? I want to ask you these questions now, Jamel. Who do you recognize as a broadcaster? Who rubs you the right way, or you say, man, I love what they're doing?
That's a good one. Like, I go back into like when I was younger, watching guys who were fighters active, such as like Roy Jones and
yes.
Paulie and those guys who I really respect, even guys like Antonio Tarver as well. I usually go with the guys who actually been within the ring, because they know what it is to actually the feel and what they to really expect from the opposition or what they're looking at in the ring. So for me, I usually look up to a lot of those guys like Paulie, Roy, Antonio, George Foreman. Big George was huge.
Sugar Ray Leonard
back in HBO. Yeah, so yeah. So I really side with my peers, if I'll say that.
You know what? Before I ask you this question, I'll kind of answer it in my point of view anyways. I was going to ask you, out of the broadcasters, which one was more entertaining? I'll say this, because I'll share this real quick, this story. I love when Sugar Ray Leonard did it, because he always give reference to himself. he'll go back in '87 when I came back and I got Marvin, lured him back into the ring, or he'll say back in '81 when I came back in that 14th round against Tommy the Hitman. I mean, I always felt that entertaining, So, what broadcaster is entertaining to you?
I don't know. I never, Richie. I never really even really thought of that. Like, I mean, Ray was very strategic back then. Like you said, but like I say again, he was still like that cash cow, as we would say today. So of course, wherever he goes, the money goes. So of course, he can decide to pick and choose. But it's different today. We're fighting. Like, I understand, like maybe say like a Canelo doing something like that, but it's really hard to put that era into like something with today. Because usually once that guy who's considered the top is gone for either just a 6 months to a year, boxing will quickly grab the next guy and then he'd be the spotlight. So it's not like where back then Ray was. He could leave for years on in and out and come back in and still be a big name in boxing. So it's just different.
Yeah, I used to like okay, let me ask you this then, because we're going to stay on this. What tandem kind of goes back and forth? They kind of go at it. Because you remember when Timothy Bradley and Andre Ward, they were going at it for a while, and it was entertaining, right. But it was good. But it was good, meaning, hey, I'm not always going to agree with what you're saying, and I see things differently, and they're not afraid to speak up, and both of them did make complete sense. Remember Larry Merchant and George Foreman?
Right.
They used to go back and forth.
They used to get into it. No, I mean they got
right?
into it. I mean,
and what was it? It was entertainment.
No, it was crazy because I remember it wasn't even the Prince Naeem Barrera fight.
Yes.
And George, it wasn't even Larry. It was George and Jim Lampy. I got into it about I remember. I think Jim had said something about in reference to Allah, and George wasn't going for it. And for the rest of the fight, you could just feel the tension that like George didn't want to hear Jim's mouth and didn't for anything. I was like. If I was there, you basically just picture it. So that always sticks out to me in terms of like when commentators, really get into it amongst their peers.
No, but us, the viewers, the fans, followers, and fighters, etc., we loved it. It was great entertainment. It was a great matchup. And you almost thought they put them together, and you didn't want to separate the two because you just knew, I like listening to these guys because, he's going to say something, and he's going to come back, and they threw cheap shots at each other. I remember George said something to the effect where Merchant replied, well, you don't have to be a fighter to know that. I don't know what reference it was or what fight it was, but George was letting him know. He said something to the effect like, did you ever get in the ring? Something to that effect, right? Because it gets to that point. And that goes to my next question, Jamel. I know a lot of fans, they like when they put together a great team. You have a former fighter, a former world champion would have, that has been inside of the ring. But yet you have somebody that has never, ever been inside the ring, but they know the boxing. I guess I would say they know their avenue. They know their range of where they can go and et cetera. Is it hard to get the respect from the followers and the fans and even their colleagues, the fighters that have never stepped a foot inside the ring, but yet they do know what they're talking about when it comes to strategic, or they see a man, or they can tell that he's not performing at the highest level as he can, or maybe he's had a bad training camp. How do those see each other, from the former fighter to the broadcaster that has been doing it his whole career but never fought?
No, I respect it. I respect it because at the same time, I look at it like this. You got a lot of great trainers that never, boxed or got to be the success of a world champion, but they know how to guide a fighter to a world championship. So, and the same goes hand in hand. I believe, guys like Bert Sugar, like those guys are historians of boxing. So I feel like if you know the sport and you know what you're speaking about, even from fighters, like from fighters ourselves, we will give you that same respect because, you know your stuff. It's usually people that we feel like, who just put out an opinion and it's totally off that fighters have an issue with. But no, if you're a commentator or a broadcaster, whatever, and you know your history, and you know what you're watching, you know what you're looking at, all fighters will give you that respect in return.
So they kind of guide off each other. They feed off each other. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Almost
Yeah,
like
exactly, yeah.
almost like, say for example, we were working together, and I knew you from the back of the like my hand. I would give you an alley-oop question just so you can get it and slam dunk it, right?
Right.
Awesome.
Like, yeah, I mean, and it's all on the same accord. So you know what I mean? So like all that. So like if everyone's on the same page and everything, like we respect those who speak, even if they didn't get in the ring, because they know what they're talking about. They know their stuff.
Jamel, I mean, it's not a secret. Without giving too much away, what are those fighter meetings like with the fighters? I mean, how much content do you get? That way you know what to ask. Is it overkill, but you can never have enough? Because I know Bernardo Osuna, he just covers every single thing. He has a plan A, B, C, and D.
No, I honestly, I wouldn't say overkill, at least in my opinion, because from what I like about the fighter meeting, honestly, is that when a fighter comes in the room and he just gives you a part of his story of what it took for him to get there and what he had to endure during, the build up or whatever, all his whole career, how it just like, all that fight that's presented that he got called up upon was like a gift to him. So it just like for me, it just gives me like a better insight of like what a fighter really goes to get to these moments that could be a dream come true or a life-changing moment.
Before the Jamel Herring show took over, when did you know this is what you were going to do as a broadcaster? Or were you waiting for that opportunity? Or did you self-promote yourself because a quiet mouth don't get fed?
No, I kind of had to self-promote myself. Like it's something that I wanted to do even when I was over fighting for PBC. At one point in time, you started seeing the fighters, getting a chance to commentate. So when I seen that, I started wanting to get the idea of doing it then at PBC, but I just never got the opportunity. So it was kind of one of the things where I said, okay, I don't want to let the opportunity slip away. I had to start, like you said, self-promote myself, and it just took off, and it got to the right individual, and they gave me the opportunity.
You know what, fighter? If I was a promoter and I was backing some money or something, I'd put together one hell of a team. I'd have you, Potcher, Manny Robles, and you know what I would do? I've never had anybody or seen anybody, maybe I stand corrected, have Mayweather. I would love to have Mayweather's input on there. Sit there, put the headset on, and just talk boxing and let them just go off the cuff. Can we imagine that intel that would come out of there? I mean, I'd put together a great team.
I'm glad, and like I said, and I'm happy. I'm glad you mentioned Christina. Christina is like one of the greatest, out there in my opinion.
I believe so.
She's actually helped me through a lot. She actually mentors me, through a lot. Even to this day. And we'll just feed off each other. But like I feel like Christina is definitely one of those individuals who deserve a lot more praise than is given. Not saying that she doesn't get her respect, but I just feel like she should be on a whole different level. And that's my opinion.
I think she's Hall of Fame quality, and I will say that. I'll stand on that. I remember I had you as a guest, and I called you Jamal, right? Yeah. And I get a text, hey, Rich, it's Jamel. You're right. I mean, just helping me. She didn't have to help me out. Just helping me out, right? I mean, that was all. I'll never forget that. And I remember looking at an interview. Your mom said, "You better make sure they say your name correctly."
Every time, I don't know what it is with Jamal, but my mom does. I don't know, when she hears it, she loses it. So.
No,
I'm glad we corrected that. I'm just glad we got that issue fixed.
No, absolutely, and I do love, hey man, when a team comes together and they just feed off each other, and it's just balance. It really is, and I'm trying to think of some of the other guys that were on there. What's the name? Gil Clancy used to do a little bit, but Ferdy Pacheco, yes, I used to like Ferdy Pacheco, back in the Showtime days. So what commentator, and then we're going to move on from this, do you dig today? I mean, Paulie was legit. He spoke his mind. I love Paulie.
Yeah, Paulie's legit. Paulie, people say whatever they whatever, but like when it comes down to like boxing aspect, Paulie knows he knows the stuff. I even enjoyed Antonio Tarver. Like he didn't hold back. He didn't hold back either when he was commentating for Showtime in the PBC. But like for the most part, there's good commentators around the board on each platform. Like I said, Abner Mars does a great job, and those guys over there.
Hey, Abner likes to get dressed up.
Yeah, but but I do, you do see complaints, about others, but I just like I said, I just go to, like, at times I just watch from my own lens anyway and just give my own perspective on the game.
I know, but you got to be at home at least one or two times going, bro, you did not say that. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, there's a lot of, I think we all do.
Listen, we all go through, we all go through a mumble like that. Like, really? Like, well, like, we're trying to question what were they watching that we weren't seeing at times, but yeah, it is what it is.
Exactly. I'll share one quick story and then we're going to move on. I'm watching, it's Tommy the Hitman Hearns, the rematch with Sugar Ray Leonard. And you have, who's commentating with Marvin Hagler? But Marvin Hagler is commentating. And oh my gosh, the late, great, awesome Marvin Hagler. He was so one-sided. He goes, come on. He goes, Tommy has a good left hook right here. He goes, come on, Tommy. During the fight, you hear Marvin Hagler is supposed to be neutral. He's saying, come on, Tommy. Come on, Tommy. And you hear him in I think it's the 8th round or 9th round when Tommy had him backed up a little bit. And it was fun to hear because that's who Marvin Hagler was. You knew he did not get along with Sugar Ray. He didn't at that point in time. No, he did not. He did not. But you can hear him say, "Come on, Tommy. Come on, Tommy." And it just stuck in my mind. I had to share that with you.
I mean, like I said, we all love Marvin, but like that, I'm glad you brought that up because like even when of course, I'm familiar with a lot of fighters across the board.
Yes, you are.
But even when I put myself in that position, like when I'm like speaking on it, I have to be in a neutral. I can't be biased. So I have to call it the way I see it. So, but but I hope like even when my friends look back on it, they see the mistakes that I was maybe mentioning on, and they fix it in terms of like taking it as more as a criticism.
Exactly, it's a hard pill to swallow, but you know what? I appreciate the pill you're giving me. Right. And I'll share this. I never shared it with anybody before, but I got a personal call from the GOAT himself, and I want to say Mark Kriegel, and he said, Rich, and he shared his thoughts with me on how to conduct myself and certain things to do and what to ask for certain fighters. I won't get into detail, but I appreciated it, man. I really did, and I was honored to receive that call.
Go.
And I say that, and I see a big smile on your face because. Which I wanted to thank you. I mean, you were on national TV and you gave a shout out for my son on his birthday, and you did. In leading up to that, Mark Kriegel was saying something, and you're looking at him at that side eye bust. You're kind of looking at him from the side of the eye, like, okay, because he says something like, I enjoy watching you or something, and you kind of looked at him like, come on, bro, do you really? You had that look on your face, but you were 100, Jamel.
No. Mark's my guy. Though, man. I love Mark. Mark's probably like one of the like really top guys over there that's really looked out for me. But yeah, so that's why I look at Mark like because we had that type of relationship. But yeah, Mark's my guy. But yeah, even then, I like I said, I kept my word, Rich, and I was like, yo, win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna pay my respect. So I made sure to get that out there. I'm going. Like I said, God bless you and the family. So yeah, that's just me. And like I said, I'm glad that because of you and others, I got to show more of who I am. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm just that type of guy. Like if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a man of my word.
No, excuse me. Yeah, you are. You're a stand-up guy, and what you see is what you get, and you see much more. Now, let's jump into the meat right here, man. The 140-pound division, the junior welterweight division. I want to talk to you about, in less than these moves that are happening. I mean, you have Jose Ramirez getting ready to fight for the vacated belt against Jose Cepeda. Regis Prograis was not even mentioned at all. He fights for a different network. I mean, he's independent. I mean, I'm sorry, he promotes himself now. I mean, he's not with the not that I know of. And he goes on air and says, hey, man, I'm doing everything asked of me. How come I'm not getting a title shot? And now there's a turn of events. Now you have Regis Prograis is going to fill Jose Ramirez's spot, and Jose fighting the winner, mandated by the WBC. Now, what did we get the fans, the followers, and supporters? Almost like a semifinals outcome of a tournament. And that's great for boxing. Tell us about the transition on how that happened from I'm not getting a title shot and now I am, and someone stepping away from an opportunity.
Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know. I would
You're smiling, Jamel, because you know.
No, because
you know boxing.
It was one of those things. Like I woke up and was like, okay, Jose and Zabeta, they're not Ramirez and Zabeta, they're not competing, and that was Regis something like maybe I felt like it was one of those things where the WBC heard the Regis prior to everything going on. Voicing his opinion, like, listen, I should have been the one to be just, here and there. And I guess after, Jose Ramirez had dropped out for personal reasons, they just say, just give him the Regis. Just that's how I looked at it. Hey, just he's been calling for us, so just get him out the way and just give it to him.
Okay, let me ask you this, and we'll move it all the way around. What's a better matchup for Regis, Cepeda or Ramirez?
I think that's a tough one. I probably would say Ramirez, because man, Jose Ramirez, he's gonna bring it, so he's gonna come, and that's the type of fight that at times Regis likes. You want to slip and counter, offer his opponents aggression, but whereas Jose Cepeda, he's gonna try to box. He may want to, at times decide if he wants to brawl, but he's in and out also. So that's more of a chess match where you have to go look for your opponent because he's not going to be there for you to hit him so easy.
What's a better matchup for Jose Ramirez, Regis Prograis or Cepeda?
The man you already beat, Jose Cepeda. You
think that's a better matchup for Ramirez?
I think so, in terms of being mentally, because you look at it as this is a man I'm familiar with. At least this is a man I know. So I feel like if we go at it again, of course, he's gotten better from before, but I still have that one notch over him mentally where I got him the last time. So that's gonna push you to continue to go in there and motivate if you're not arrogant enough to overlook him, but to go in there thinking mentally, at least I know I have him beat. In terms of Regis, this is a guy who's been actually calling for you for years. So you're thinking there's a reason why this guy's keeps calling me out, because he may see something that that I'm not catching on myself. So a guy like Regis gives you more. He keeps you thinking more in terms of a guy like Jose Cepeda, who you're more familiar with. You're like, I've been in here with this guy. I know what it takes to beat him.
Can Cepeda win 2 in a row?
Yeah, I believe he can, because like I said, with that guy, he at one point in time he was a sleeper. He was overlooked. Yeah. Now he's at that point where he's gotten his respect, where he can not only beat you, but he can make you look bad while doing it. Yes, because he's gotten better with every fight.
Okay, very well said. Now let's put Teofimo Lopez in this equation. If he's successful next week, we have Teofimo Lopez, and I was going to mention Ryan Garcia, but I don't think he wants to really stay at 140 pounds. I think he's going to use that as leverage to get that 135-pound big fight that he wants. But let's not forget about Arnold Barboza.
Right.
So where do you put these two fighters in those possible matchups? I like to call, like everybody else calls Arnold Barboza, the dark horse, the sleeper, the people sometimes overlook.
Yeah, Arnold definitely is still a sleeper, but I think if it was his last performance, like I was saying, so he woke up. Hey, hold up. Thank you.
Father Herring.
Like I was saying, well, Arnold's last performance, I think he's a sleeper, but he's a big 140 pounder. Yeah. I believe, like I say, he proved that he can box. He not only box, but he can down and dirty in the trenches also still.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought he looked great. Cause I called the fight ringside. I thought he looked great. I thought he looked great during the whole entire match. Even when he did get hurt in the last round, he still closed the show on a high note. So I thought that he's not so much of a sleeper, whereas he's gotten his respect, where he's gotten the attention, because he's not calling for, you know, these guys that we don't know about. Like, he wants the Teofimos and the champion. So you gotta take notice of a guy like that. You can't call him a sleeper. So I feel like he could be a problem for anybody that you put him in there against.
I'll rephrase that. Not the sleeper, the ones that a lot of people overlook.
Yeah, he's definitely overlooked. Definitely, but I think that just his last performance, he gained a lot of more respect, not only from the boxing in general, but his peers in his competition.
Now, I had we had Regis Program on the show Tuesday, and he said he had plans at one point moving up to 147 pounds. And he said, Richard, I'm not going anywhere. He said, I'm going to stay here at the 140-pound division because you have these young lions coming up, and I want to be a part of it. The Ryan Garcias, possibly Tank. I don't know if he can come up to 140. Devin Haney, and he knows there's fire in this division. He wants to clean it all out. Take care of Cepeda, Ramirez, Arnold Barboza, Teofimo, whoever's there. And instead of running from it or getting about that's, I don't want to say unrecognized, but not so much of a proven warrior as a champion as these guys are. A lot of times they get that opportunity or that break or what have you, but a champion's a champion and very well deserved. He wants to stay here and clean out the division and be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Do you think if Regis is able to clean out this division with the names I've just mentioned, at least 3 out of the 4, do you think he could be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I think Regis could beat a lot of fighters still at that level. I just want to see him stay busy, because at the end of the day, we're not getting any younger. So
yes.
I think his main thing is more activity, and not in terms of competition. Like, of course, I feel like he's gonna be competitive with anybody you put him in there against, and you know, he has, like I said, he has a great chance of beating a lot of those fighters. But I think his main thing for me is just some activity, and I would like to see him stay more active.
During this conversation, I mentioned Jose Ramirez, I mentioned Regis Prograis, Cepeda, Arnold Barboza, Teofimo Lopez. Jamel, who am I not putting in here? Who am I missing? What 2 fighters need to be in this class? If we're going to put together a tournament, or we're going to put together matchups for a vacated belt. I don't want to overlook Josh Taylor either, because he is the undefeated champion.
I'm bad with names, but it's the one Cuban fighter that fights for the PBC. That's knocking out everybody. That's being overlooked. That's more of a sleeper. Like, I think it starts with an M or something, but it's a Cuban fighter, and blind. I know someone's gonna know what I'm talking about, but like, that dude, he's a sleeper if no one's not talking about him. Because those are guys gonna watch out, because he's slowly climbing the rankings in terms of getting a title shot.
Well, then, you know what? It'd be nice to have an all-out tournament right now. And, you know, I mentioned all those, and I do not want to overlook Josh Taylor. He's proven it. He's faced the best of the best. If you were his promotion team, what rematch makes sense? The Jose Ramirez rematch with Josh Taylor or Regis Prograis? What brings more excitement? What would you like to see?
In terms just those 2?
Yes. If Taylor said, you know what, I want to give one of these guys a rematch before I move up to 140, before I move up to 147s.
I probably said maybe the Regis fight, maybe, because that was
very close.
Yeah, very, very, very close, and nothing taken from Jose's.
No,
fight,
take those knockdowns away. You got another close fight.
Yeah, as I'm saying, yeah. So I give it to the one that was, you know, at least in the cards close, and I said the Regis fight.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on from this part real quick. Joshua Franco, he's now a free agent. He's not with a Golden Boy. He's the brother of Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Josh, the Professor Franco. Where does he go? Where do you think he lands? Is it Matchroom? Is it Top Rank? Is it PVC? Or back to Golden Boy? Or Mayweather Promotions? We never know.
It all depends. It all depends on like usually like for me the weight classes that have the most action these days.
Yeah.
So I would say the top rank. He would go top rank.
Okay. I'd like to see him at Top Rank or Matchroom, just me personally.
I mean, like I said, Golden Boy, whatever they do, what they got to do, whether it's money, activity, whatever, how they work it out with him, he may go back over there. But if it's not Golden Boy, I would say he probably goes top rank.
Jamel, what does one fighter look for? Of course, we're looking at that extra zero, but you want to sign where the big fights are, where you can make more zeros. I mean, so you want them in the promotion company that you're going to be in. What's the deciding factor on those two? As far as making a decision.
It could be a lot. Like I said, it could be like again, the money can always change in terms of like which every what fight each fight brings,
right.
So things of that nature, or whatever the activity. The more say you can have in terms of percentage of views, yeah. So like I said, it all varies, but for the most part, it usually comes down to more money at the end of the day. If you're going to re-sign up with anybody.
Right. Jamel, I know this next question is very tough, very difficult. How tough a decision was it for you to walk away from the sport of boxing, which I think one foot is still in there. I do. Right. When you step into the ropes and you're kind of underneath there and you kind of go in and out. I think you're kind of just in and out. I think you're one phone call away, one opportunity away from maybe just one more time. But
shout out. Let me just say shout out to my guys, Manny
Robles.
JC, because
yes.
I just had a conversation right before I got on here with JC. Manny's like, so when Jamel coming back? Because Manny's trying to lure me back at the gym, and of course, I got that fight instinct into me. But I'm like, at this time, it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like the fire is not there. So and it's just one of those things where I don't want to waste not only my time but my team and everyone else's time around me if I'm not gonna be there 100% mentally. So it was just one of those things for me. Like, of course, I don't. You see me. I don't put on 40 plus pounds where I can't just get back into camp and do what I gotta do. But cause I'm always gonna have that fighter's instinct and fighter's lifestyle. But for me, it's more mentally and how I'm feeling, or if I feel like I'm being treated the way that I deserve and such.
I agree with you. Now you're not calling anybody out at all. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Who would you have loved to at least share the ring with during your time of putting the gloves on? Where, hey, it would have been nice to take on this guy because I really wanted to challenge myself, or just to share the ring with this fighter. Is there what name comes to mind?
Two recent ones, Oscar Valdez and Miguel Berchelt at 130. I thought those guys. I still think those guys are good fighters in their own rights. And like I said, Oscar Valdez was the man after he beat Miguel Berchelt. But at one point in time, Berchelt was the man. You know what I mean? At 130 pounds. So. And it's not, and for me, it's never a disrespectful thing, but just like you said, it's just one of the things where I wanted to test myself against those two type of styles at one point. But those are the two that come to mind off the bat.
Well, Jamel, in my eyes, there's no such thing as a former world champion. Lee Samuels said it best. You never shied away from anybody. You took on the young lions, man, and you put a good account of yourself. And I still think that you still have some in you, but I'm not going to make that decision for you. I think you'll be an undisputed champion behind the microphone, but I still think that glove fits perfect. Manny knows what he's talking about. If Manny says when's Jamel going to come back, Manny, he knows what he's talking about.
Nah, shout out to Coach Manny, man. I love him, man. I love my whole LA team out there, man. We guys are great.
That's right, man. So how's life being Jamel Herring nowadays? No training camp, no nothing. It's
cool. I'm still me. Like, I'm still the same individual I was when I was lacing them up. I just have more time to, just to relax and just sit back and enjoy life more. So Of course, yeah. Of course, if I watch a fight, I'm like, man, I wish I could get back in there. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. So, but at the same time, I'm happy. I'm happy though, Rich. I'm in a good, like I said, I'm always in good spirits. When you reach out to me, boom, I hit you right back, man. I'm always
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's still
You,
the
you,
same me.
you,
Still
you,
the same me.
you do, and I appreciate that. You know, when I was putting your name down today, I usually put like the fighters. I'll put like a boxing glove behind it. But I was thinking, okay, do I put a boxing glove or do I put a microphone or just? I go, no, I'm gonna do what I usually do. Okay, I'll do both. Or I'll put the American flag at times. But you know, I just want to make sure I come correct, man. So listen, Virgil Ortiz is fighting this Saturday. What can we expect from his long return? I mean, I want to say long because he's been very consistent up until his last.
Right. I mean, things happen. But
yes, exactly.
I think Virgil, like, just the way he was recently talking with, you know, reporters.
Yeah.
I think he has that. I think he has that fire where like he's out here to prove a point. So I think Virgil's gonna go out here and just be that Virgil that we all love to see.
How fast is fight gonna go?
I don't know because you gotta take into account he may have a bit of a ring rust, you know, trying to warm up and things like that. I give it about 7, 8. I say that.
There you go. Jamel, are you going to go in the promotional business? Are you going to go in the management business? What are you working on? What can you tell us
right now,
what's going on?
Right now, I am in the management. Like, I am in the management because I like to look out for my fighters to make sure that they are guided and see things that, you know, that could potentially do them good or do them, you know, the best for their career. I mean, or bring them down. So, so for now, yeah, I'm just doing that with, like, again, with my good friend JC, me and myself, JC, and our partner Gary Gittleson. I just, you know, guiding fighters and making sure we can do the best possibly for their careers.
Well, I'm letting you know right now, man. You can be a full-time host here on the Fighter's Voice, man. You always have a seat here. You always have a microphone here, man. I mean, we can go on and on, bring some guests on here, share your ideas on here. We can even turn it to the Jamel Herring show at times, man. I appreciate you being on the show all the time.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your family, man.
Yeah, man. Anything you want to say to all the fans, the followers, and supporters, the true followers of Jamel Herring? Actually, even the haters are followers too, because they watch and they support.
I'm just grateful, man. I'm just grateful for everyone who's out there and still, you know, sticking by me and hang with me. So that's all that matters to me at the end of the day. So, you know, I'm just grateful. Appreciate you guys.
How do we follow you, man?
At Jamel, all simple. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Rich, you can tell them. You know, I speak with everybody, so I'm cool. I'm cool with everybody, even the haters.
Yeah, no, yes, you are. Yes, you are. They notice because I've been in a room and your name comes up, and there may be some things I don't agree with, but I'm just quiet because I want to make sure. Okay, you finished now? Because you're gonna hear me now, and what I got to say. Whatever happened was there. That's not the person I know. That's not the person that gives me a text. That's not the person who calls me. So maybe he didn't loan you some money or something, or maybe he didn't, or beat the fighter you had money on. I don't know, but nevertheless. Jamel, as you know, we're not going to please everybody. That's all there is to it, man. I mean, when you got two fighters, there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, just like in any other team or any other sport. You know, that's just the way it is. And you know how to deal with that. You're a professional, and you've proven to continue to be a professional as you put everything aside, like you said, whenever you're commentating.
Of course, yeah. I just called down the line, but at the end of the day, we can go hang out, talk, and share our own opinions together. That's just how I am.
Oh yeah. Or hey, if you want to take it further, we can share a sparring session together. The doors are open and the gloves are on, baby. We can man up. Right on, Jim. No, I'm not talking about me. Not me and you. I'm talking about if someone else wants to take that further. Oh, I can't let you go without this. Man, how's that Corvette treating you, man?
It's good. Everything. I mean, it's good. I mean, honestly, I still prefer my Hellcat, but that's just me. I'm just that type of guy, but it's been good.
Oh man, that thing is cherried out, man. That thing is cherried out. How many times you drive it a week?
I mean, right now, like I said, my Hellcat is still in the shops. I've been driving it every day or every other day. You know what I'm saying? So like until my Hellcat gets back, but yeah, I've been.
Okay.
Like, you know, getting real accustomed with it, but like I said, it's good. It's good on good weather days. I still don't like the whole the rain and everything. But
Yeah.
not
No,
for me.
hey, you got to take care of it. You got to take care of that machinery,
Exactly.
man.
Yeah, no.
You know, and it's taking care of you. So why not take care of it, man? Jamel, you know, I want to thank you, man. I wish we could have went on longer, but that just means we're going to open it up on another time. And sometimes Zoom works for you, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And when it's
No,
out of our
I
hands,
was there like you said, like a Marine. Like I was 15 minutes prior. I'm still like, let me get everything set up. And I was just sitting there like, I was sitting like, okay, I had like a whole conversation with the family and everybody waiting for it to pop up, and it just wasn't connecting.
hey, man, and I'm thinking, okay, Jamel is always on time. He's always professional. He's never cooking when he's on the air. He's never in a car when he's talking to me. Nevertheless, there's family things happen, but he sits down. He gives us his time of day. And most of all, he shows professionalism, mannerism, and you continue to bring the best and help the fighter's voice to the plateau that it is today because of fighters like you that conduct yourself as a true professional in and out of the ring.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Rich. Thank you.
Hey, enough said. This is the best part of the show right now. Hey, I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. I want to thank our guest, Jamel Herring. You can catch him broadcasting on Top Rank Boxing, ESPN's, and maybe one day possibly a charity match or just one more farewell fight. You heard it first here on The Fighter's Voice. And as always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie. Thank you, Jamel. Appreciate that. Class act, brother.
No problem, bro.